Good evening, everyone. How we doing? Just going to turn the music down a smidge in my ears. But how are we all doing? I hope we're doing well. What have I got to tell you? I've been out all day today. Sans phone. Well, not a sans phone. Sans phone signal, though. So I've been unreachable for a lot of the day, which has been fun. Went for a family walk around a little village and National Heritage Park for my stepmother-in-law's birthday, which is tomorrow. So that's what we did. In terms of stream stuff, there's some new channel point redemptions if you want to try them. One has been tried once last week already, which is an Until Dawn Don't Move redemption. And I've also added a React bot, which won't work on this screen, so don't try it yet. It might work on this screen actually, but it will definitely work on the next screen. On the game screen, which basically, if you don't like my opinion on something, you can ask a React bot, and React bot will give you a short and succinct answer of less than 3 seconds, and he'll pop up on stream and he'll let you know what he thinks. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll put it on this screen for next time as well, but at the minute, yeah, just on the main gaming screen. So don't do it yet. Also, I'm leaving him 1,000 point redemption, but with no. I don't think I've put any restrictions on how many times, but we'll see how it goes. If it gets a bit too far in the way for streams, I might put like once per stream per person or something on it. But he needs a bit of a test, so that's what we're going to do with that. What do your landmines? I guess we'll get started on today's game then, which is the Stanley Parable. Let's turn the music off. A little bit loud, I think. That's so loud. You don't need it that loud at all. Have I played the Stanley Parable before? No. That'll do. (10:09 PM). It could have just got that from the system, I'm sure. Right, it's a little bit on the loud side for me. So I've just turned it down a little for me. How's the game sound for you? Feels like about there is probably right. Well, let me know. Ooh. You can't see it because my camera's in the way, but the computer screen is within a computer screen is within a computer screen is within a computer screen. Let's test out. Let's test out React bot. Well, I enjoy this game.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. There you go. 10 out of 10 game. I do need to get rid of that sound that is in front of all of my redeems though. I don't know where it is though. I don't know if it's on Twitch or if it's on Stream Elements Or what? Right, if I do it again... If I do it again, I should be able to see, like, where in my mixer it is, right? So let's do it again. React bot. Oh, it's on cooldown. I put it on a 5-minute cooldown. I can't do it. Never mind. We'll do it later. Let's begin the game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple.
Okay.
He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending,
he's using one finger though, that's no good.
Moment that the orders came in.
You got to use more than one
They
finger.
had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Okay.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Okay.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ooh, I can move. Okay, what number was I in? 427, remember that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Where's the meeting room? Oh, why is there nothing outside this window? It's just white. Typing apparently. Something going on in the ceiling.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Now, do we go through the door on the left like they say? Yeah, we've gone through the door on the left. Never mind. 413. I think this is a... excuse me. I think this is a sort of game where you end up doing like multiple different playthroughs anyway. So we can go through the wrong way next time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
R.I.P. friends. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header. Throw some bevel on the text. This will ensure a calm and productive work environment. Sounds about right, to be fair. Okay. Broom closet. Can we go in here?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
For this first bit, let's just follow the instructions like a good employee, and then we'll see where we, you know, if we need to change that. Executive bathroom. To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. Interesting. Okay. Nothing that way. What we got in here then? Oh my god, look at this.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Look
Stanley
at
was
this
once
for an
again
office.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
What a lucky man I am.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna die if I walk down there, aren't I? Let's try this way first. Okay, there's nothing this way. Oh, hello. Chris, how you doing? Welcome in. Enjoy your cookie. How are you doing? Oh, it's not a hole, it's the floor. I thought that was a hole.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of
That's
the
a bad
job.
time for ads.
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I'm not sure if you get an ad, so I'll wait until the ads finish to respond to you, unless you let me know that you're not in ads. I don't have a keyboard, so why is it making keyboard sounds?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't like the sound of that. Mind control facility or escape. I wonder which one sounds the best. I'm not too sure. It does say escape. It does say escape. But don't I want my mind controlled? I'm not sure. Right. I think we're out of ad break now. So to answer your question, I'm pretty good, thank you. I just thought I'd play this game. It's been on my list of games to play for ages, and it was obviously free on PlayStation Plus last month. So I thought, why not play it? I've had a busy day. Been out walking with the family in a lovely little quaint English town with a national heritage park, miles away from anywhere, so I had no phone signal. So it was just a matter of having a walk around with family and taking some lovely photos. That's pretty much it. How about you? Aside from your video editing, what sort of stuff have you been up to this weekend? And do you think we should go to the mind control facility or the escape? I kind of want to do the mind control facility. It darkens when I walk in the door, look. Ooh. So I've only just started, and I watched it a bit when the original came out, but that was a long time ago. But essentially, we are office worker number 427, and for years we've just been putting orders in the computer, and then one day, no orders came, and everyone's disappeared. And we've been up to our boss's office and found a secret corridor, and we're being offered to either go into the mind control facility or to escape. But it's a sort of game where you can get loads of different endings, but it's not quite as in-depth as something like Until Dawn is in terms of the storyline. But it's pretty cool. I think we'll go in the mind control facility. Oh, we've done it now.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
Whoa.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
What's over here? Yeah, it's one of those games that's been given like all of the awards over the years. And this is the like the re-release, the Ultimate Edition re-release. Hello? Hello? Ah.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And
Look at
Stanley,
this.
one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
There's us, 427. That's our office. That one right there. Okay.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Surely
it
it can't be true.
Had Stanley
Hey, someone
really
got
been under
fired.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
It could be.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
It does a little bit.
It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Hi Ben, enjoy your cookie. And thank you for the GG. Yeah, the narration makes this game. That's number 5. How you doing, Ben? How's your weekend been? Do I just go in here? Looks like I just go in here. Look at this huge screen. What, you are cold or you have a
And when
cold?
at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
You were wiped out after Friday. What happened on Friday? Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, you had a really long stream, didn't you?
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself
We won, chat.
from
We
someone
won.
else's command.
We did it.
Freedom was mere moments away.
Here we go.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers
It's
gone?
true, we don't know where they
How
went.
had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or
You
how
can't
to feel.
jump.
Whatever life he lives,
Trophy earned.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Oh, we got 2
It was
trophies.
perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his
Ooh.
skin.
You're aiming for
Feeling
12
of
hours.
liberation,
12-hour
the
streams are
immense
hard, man.
possibility of the new path
I've only done
before
one,
him.
and I
This
found it
was
so
exactly
difficult.
The way, right now, that
I felt
things
ill
were
at the end of
meant
it.
to
It was that long.
happen. And Stanley was happy.
Beat the game. There we go. Stream over. Thanks for coming by, guys. Right, now here's where we get to have fun. This is where we woke up.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
But now we
Stanley
get to
decided
play.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So here's what we did last time, right? We came into this room here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And we went in the door on the left. So this time we're going to go on the door on the right and see
This
what
was
happens.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I mean, let's go and see the employee lounge, I guess. Is it admirable?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Give me a drink. What's in here?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
I mean, it's a very... Oh, what's this? Hello. What do you say?
At this
Nothing.
point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
It's absolutely possible that everyone left because of me. But I'm not leaving yet. I want to see what other voice lines you've got, narrator.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
It read my mind. I'm going to wait for one more bit of dialogue and then we'll go. Is that going to be it? It could be it. Oh, fine, let's
But
go.
at
I'm
last,
bored.
he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Ooh, Do we go back to business or do we head this way? Ooh. It's a tricky one.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Nope. We're going this way. The end is never the end.
But
is never
Stanley
the
didn't
end.
want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Okay.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right?
Which way is it, game?
What was I thinking?
Which way are we going?
It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Come on then. Where are we going?
Let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay. Hello. Oh, we're back here.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just.
We've already seen it.
Oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
No, don't do it.
This time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
No, don't. Why would you do this to us, game?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
So many doors now.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
You clearly
Did
didn't.
something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
I swear I
Did you
didn't.
move the
No.
story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Well, you
It
better
was
tell
right
me
here
then.
just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
Oh.
Let's find the story.
Ooh. Which way do we go? Can't go that way. What about this way? Do we like this way, chat? We like this way, I think. This way? This way. This way? This way.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over
Please
and
don't.
over again.
Please don't make me
It's gotta
start
be better
again.
than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
No, please. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Got it. Meeting room. Got the memo.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story
No
is
doors.
back where we just came from.
I mean, okay,
Why
we'll
don't
try.
we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay, let's go back this way then. I don't think we have. We're just going back to our office.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
We're just going
No,
inside.
wait,
Nope.
never mind. Not the story. Okay,
That's
let's
a dead
head
end.
back the other way and retrace our steps.
Okay, narrator. We're going back this way. What?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
I have no
can't
idea.
quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Yes.
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Thank you.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
That's a bit
Some
unfair.
people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Can't help it if
Okay,
you're bad at
I'm
storytelling.
getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No, not again. Put an
All
adventure
right,
line in.
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow
Okay.
the line. How simple is that?
Oh, just follow the line. Here it is. This isn't the way we came before.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we
It's a
implying
wiggly
a
line.
journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize.
You say you
Not sure
should?
where I was going with all that.
Me
You
neither.
know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Okay, what you got for me? I'm so sorry, this is very loud. What is going on? Where are we going? Monthly ledgers, okay. Accounts. These are peer reviews to just one employee. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've just turned it down a little bit because I could not hear a thing. Let me know if it's too loud for you. I think it's still too loud for you. There we go. I think that's better. Okay.
Wait, cut the music. Go
Okay.
back and look at that fern.
Okay, I'm looking at the
Stanley,
phone.
This fern will be very important later in the story.
Got it.
Make sure
Noted.
you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay. How many leaves has it got? It does look like a very important fern. Have you remembered it, chap?
Wait,
Oh, hello.
what? We're back at the office? No.
What?
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Back in here again? Oh, hello.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted
We
you,
trusted
of
this line and
we've been
everything.
through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
No, not again. Chat, we've had to restart like 6 times now.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it
Okay.
ever done for us?
Not
We're
a lot.
intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story?
We should do that.
Exciting, daring, mysterious.
Let's jump out this window.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay. What have we got?
Yes, this is exciting.
It's just a
me and
corridor.
Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Okay. What sort of story do we need?
Oh, no, not you again.
It's the line.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
It reminds me of the stuff from the Smiler Alton Towers. If anyone's been there and been on the ride. If you're British, you probably have. Hello.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity.
Okay.
I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay. So
Okay.
I know that each door has to lead somewhere.
Walking in circles.
Which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
Sounds very
starting
smart.
from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And
I
since
think it
the
will.
answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Let's take the right door then.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending?
No. No.
We're supposed to restart the game what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall.
We've been playing it for 18
Well,
minutes.
Who consulted
We're here,
me?
look.
Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Okay.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
It looks like we did.
Whatever it is that made this schedule, how would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
Bit awkward. Bit
I guess
awkward,
now we
narrator.
just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the
I'm not quite sure.
destination or the journey. Though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Ooh. The game just restarted. I
all
thought
his
something.
co-workers were gone.
Oh,
What could it
no.
mean?
Not
Stanley
again.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
No.
missed a memo.
No. Please.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right. Let's go left then, I suppose.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Okay.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, we're going downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Well, I'm just going in.
My co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Rounded circles.
None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Yeah.
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
That's a very good point.
Close automatically behind him wherever he went.
That's also a very good point.
These rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yeah, we're going in circles. Wait, they are.
Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well
I'm just going to do
while I'm still
a few more laps.
So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered
This is
Stanley's
cool.
head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Isn't that the question we all ask of
The voice was
ourselves?
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
Breaking the
I'm
meta.
dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
He did
And
thought.
while he
I mean,
it
I
all
thought.
very odd and wondered if
We
this
thought?
voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
That's a good
Stanley
point.
is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he
Let's
closed
do it then.
his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
It's true.
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want.
It's all I've ever
I
wanted.
want my apartment and my wife and my job.
Yep.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Let's do it then. Look, we're still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Did we start again? Let me guess. Did we start again?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh, this is new.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh, is that
And
us?
although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.
Okay.
Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I
Normal.
am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
We
It
all
was
think that.
comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she
Okay.
remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
And what next? Oh, we're back here again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
Yeah, I
could
know.
it mean?
We've
Stanley
already heard
decided
this
to go
bit.
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, left door. Nobody here either.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Not a single person.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of
I think
any
it's
human
2845.
life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Let's go down. Now we have been this way. Oh, hello.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
We did that last time. We're going to go the escape route this time.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
You know, let's go for it.
The door
Very well.
behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No, boring.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and
I very much
willingly
am.
confront his death.
We're not dead.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his
no.
narrow vision of what this world is.
Over here.
Perhaps his death was of no great loss,
Oh,
like
no.
plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh no.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator. as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal
What?
jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Why have we got... Oh. But that's not happened. We're here. And why have we got a second narrator now? Okay.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know, second narrator.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, hello. This is our office. Office layout. The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, but the core layout remains almost identical to its first iteration. Okay, okay. Filing cabinets, yep, thanks for that. The office, yep. Button sounds. Ooh, interesting. It's over here. Office computers. Hey. Credits. Who's in the credits? Lots of people I don't know. Oh, but we still get a choice. Do we want to go that way or do we want to go that way? Let's go this way. Yep, this is all the office. Maintenance room, an early version of the maintenance. So this is just like a behind the scenes making of. Fun. We haven't got to all those things yet, so that... Hello? Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of the emails. How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game? Oh, how is the game going? I hope it's as good or better than the first one. From a cool man. Okay. Are you a rock? No. Oh my god, where do we go? Game design mock-up. Okay. Is this still part of the game? One. 2. 3. 2 and 3 are very similar though. I mean, I guess we're going over here then. Hello. The countdown ending.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Yes.
No, Perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
Can't do that.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
We're dead. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Hello?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is a different building.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, he didn't.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yeah, we've done that one. Now we're doing this
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
I thought it had stopped me.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I'm very powerful. Okay.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Yeah, this is Stanley's office. What do you mean?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
This way.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
He didn't.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible
We're going to not
he
jump
wasn't
off this
fired
time.
years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
I didn't think it would
I'm
let me.
not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who is she? Who is she?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be...
No.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Okay.
All right.
Do we live at 47
Okay,
as well as work
all
at
right,
47?
now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha. Oh,
That's
come
cruel.
on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Yeah.
Who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
I'm pressing all of the wrong buttons.
Look at him
Fine.
there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's
Would one
chosen this
right?
life.
I don't think I did.
But in his mind,
Fine.
In his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Let me leave.
And so he began to fantasize about his own
The
job.
TV's gone.
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss,
This is very
everyone in the
meta.
building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Okay.
The thought excited him terribly.
Did it?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It
Okay.
barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy
Where did the
world,
kitchen go?
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
With a
And he
baby?
called it the Stanley Parable.
I haven't seen a baby.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path.
There
Mustn't
must
there
be.
be? Perhaps
exactly.
if he played just one more time.
You know. It's not wrong.
But there is no answer. How could there
Oh, where did she
possibly
go?
be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay. You got it. I'm not doing it. You've told me not to. But there isn't really much else for me to do is the problem. There we go. We've lined it up very nicely. Where else can we line it? Well, we can line it up on this wall here. We're going to have to press it, aren't we? Fine.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Give me a mirror.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
Okay.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see.
Maybe.
Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Did we... Oh...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content.
Oh, new content?
Yeah.
What does that mean, new content?
New content. What does it mean? What does it mean? Hello.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
You are welcome.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Yep.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Okay.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
It's the same guy.
So far, it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Yep.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or...
It feels
here
like we should.
All right,
There we
finally,
go.
at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Which side's it gonna be?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious.
Very
it's as
tedious.
Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
We get to jump. Okay, we've done the jump circle.
Is that it?
That can't be it.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Nope, it doesn't look like it.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley,
Okay.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
Is it
If
the
this
jump
new
square
content,
next?
Then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew there had to be something else. Let's
Hello.
see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
You do that, narrator.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I mean, I didn't get a choice, did I? Hello. What is this? Hello? This is new.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Hello? Please don't just load me back up at my desk. No.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be?
Very
It got
much
me
so.
thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
Look at
Take
this.
a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Okay, okay.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
You seen this? The British Academy of Film and Television Arts is awarded to The Last of Us in the category story. And then they just taped over it with Stanley Parable. Nice. Okay. Okay. Can we go anywhere else? Hello? Nope. Better go in this building.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James
sounds
Stephanie
good.
Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Hello. Where are we going here then? Not that way.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Okay. So where do you want me to go now? This way?
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games.
Okay.
I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny.
A little bit.
With his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Can I go this way? No. It's down here then. Ooh. Wants a thumbs up.
Okay, let's see what this one says.
Noodle
While
shaft.
the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh, dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record.
Yep.
I feel like a failure. Like I let
Well,
these people down.
maybe a
Perhaps
little
the
bit.
Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Yes.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll
There
pop
it
you
is.
forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and
Okay,
it
go on
goes
then.
something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday,
Just
here
yesterday.
and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It
Not
can't be.
one
It's
moment.
the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably...
Okay, that's just
we
going to leap,
all
isn't
until
it? Let's skip.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and...
What did Frosty Tools have to say? In the dim glow of Matty's stream, a few souls gather, 4 viewers in the shadows watching the sheep-like wanderings in the Stanley Parable. Links drop like breadcrumbs, leading to a digital trail of its Matty's online presence. A whisper in the chat beckons, check out my blue sky, where tales of future streams and gaming lore await. The plot thickens. Or does it?
lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes?
I mean...
It's not unendurable by any means. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through.
Let's give him a bit of time, this
so
one.
much time. I stopped keeping track after a year.
It's
Have
been
you
a
ever
year.
sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life.
You are going on a bit,
collapsed
narrator.
down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself.
What's beeping? What's beeping at me?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain.
Just give me a door game. I just want to go through a door.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
That's the loading screen. Oof. Not looking good in here. Suppose we'll press it another time then, eh? We can see the outside world. If we go forward one more time, maybe we'll escape. Not quite. Okay. What next? Game, just give me a door. Oh. Hello. Where am I going? Do I just leave this place? Is it this direction? Is this where I'm going? Do I just keep going? Oh no, we're back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. Well, I do like
good.
new
You
content.
noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Yep. Show me some more new content then. But we've been here.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay. Alright.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there.
I 100%
it's
agree.
future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Okay. I mean, TSP2 logo ideas. Okay. Okay.
Now, to be
What
clear,
else have we got?
I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Okay, so we've got some new features. Let's check out the new features. We're gonna go up the stairs. Ooh.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
We've got some merch. Okay, let's try the reassurance bucket, I
A
suppose.
common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
Let's hear it.
It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to
there
the
it is.
bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
I mean,
Come on,
it does sound interesting.
try.
It's a bucket.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact,
Yes.
can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
Well, I don't need any
I
help
think that
with
just
that.
holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Okay.
The benefits
okay.
of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they?
They do.
All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Can I put it down? Oh, we can go again. We're just gonna carry the bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes
Get
when
well
you solicit
someday.
another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Why? Why would you do that to me?
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Ooh, the jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
I did do that.
Oh, well.
Give me some more.
I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece
No,
then.
give me another 5 jumps. Gosh, darn it. Free. I mean, it's a trophy. I really want it, but I feel like I need to do other things first. That's jump circle, this map, okay. Free trophy, the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Okay. How do I get to that? So that is... Is that up here? No.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's
Okay.
truly innovative is that there will be no reward
No
for collecting
reward.
all of them. I
None.
don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Not sure about that. Could we go a bit faster, maybe? Oh, they still got the bucket. One of 6.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Okay, so that was no, that wasn't K. That was collectibles. So that was A9. So that was there. I want to go through this way then, don't I? Here it is. I want to go in here. Oh, that's not how you do it.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that
Is it just going to say Stanley?
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is.
Well, that's
Here,
a letdown.
let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate
Fine,
the full
I guess we can be
experience
Jim.
of
I
this
guess we can
feature.
be
Just
Jim,
play
whatever.
along. I promise you'll love it. Okay,
Hi, I'm Jim.
here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Okay.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
I'm Jim.
Sleeping and waking as Jim.
Sleeping as Jim.
Falling in love and being heartbroken as
Heartbroken
Jim.
like
Seizing
Jim.
all of the world's possibilities as Jim. And as
I
Jim,
am
watching
Jim.
your dreams crumble into dust.
Do
you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I'm so
If so,
Jim.
then please step forward and press the button.
Let's press the Jim button.
Jim.
Jim.
Yes! You see! What
That's
a
right.
thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Okay, just one more time then.
Jim. It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
Well,
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
I guess I'm going this way then. Can I get rid of this? What's in
I
here?
suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would
there's an
actually
epilogue.
save me the work of finishing this feature.
I don't want to do epilogue yet. Red is the new orange. Very nice. Right, I'm gonna go get the trophy. Let's get the trophy.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard.
That's not
Stanley,
allowed.
But I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Wonder if we press it enough times, it'll say something. It does not appear so. I can't stop doing it, Damo. We're going to be stuck here all night now. What if I pull it from this side? I suppose pushing it from this side. God damn it. Fine. Fine. I'll stop pulling the lever. I mean, I'll stop pulling the lever.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Don't know which ones haven't I seen. We've seen Jump Circle, we've seen the map, we've seen the free trophy, we've seen the button of the name that the player is playing the game, we've seen merch, settings world champ. Thank you. It is a Porygon. Settings world champion. We've got the bucket, we've got the decorations, we've got infinite hole and settings. Okay. Well, infinite hole is over there. Which is there. So where's settings? Okay, through here and straight back around on ourselves. Where? Is it here? I can't find it, Damo. Three. Okay, 3 is office decorations. It's next to office decoration. Is it just that? No, that's Jump Circle. Is it just this? Oh, they've not built it yet. Guess we go and see the infinite black hole then. Whatever. And then the epilogue. Then that might be it. Who knows though. How are you anyway, Damo? How's your weekend been? Okay, infinite hole chart. Hole, more hole, infinity, falling. Okay, sounds good. Just had some spicy ramen.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
It sounds like it. Can I not do it? But I kind of have to do it now, right, to see what it does.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Okay. I really did think it was just going to make me fall down that until I restarted the game. So I'm very glad that it didn't. I think we've seen everything. I think we have to go to the epilogue now. That's not the epilogue. So the exit and the epilogue are different. Interesting. Right, let's go to the epilogue then, I suppose.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Oh, hello. So here's the settings world champion. What? Hello? I think that's everything then. Suppose we go to the end now. Do we? Do we go to the end?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I don't think there's anything else. I suppose we are, yeah. Okay. No screenshots, okay.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere.
There could be a good game.
Let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Okay. Go for it.
Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is
Come on,
much
you've
better.
got it this
I feel
time.
good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2.
Come on, show me. You can do it.
If I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
We've got it.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Yep.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Yeah, we know.
Although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single
this is just the
order
original
had
game.
arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions,
Apologies,
call
there
a
are
meeting,
balloons.
or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest
Welcome back from
time.
ads, everyone.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him to pick it up. Why was he not doing it?
What bucket? This bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
We've got the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest
He
and
did.
entered the door on his left.
Okay, let's follow it because it's going to take us to the new trophy. It's a brilliant bucket, isn't it?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
Have
It's
the
a
bucket.
bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. It's this way.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing press. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
The
guiding
bucket was guiding me.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
What's the bucket going to do for us now? That's the problem. Not the problem, that's the question.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
It's
Soothing him,
true.
comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you,
You're not wrong,
Stanley.
Damo. It would make a
Everything
good helmet.
will be fine.
Okay, let's go. Oh.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
The bucket did wonder. Is it going to be a different secret?
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Okay.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What
Probably.
kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the
It's
first
a
place?
very important question.
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls
go.
labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, The
did.
bucket made a sassy
I would
comment
high-five a
about
bucket.
taking down the system. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been
Bucket, how
the
dare
bucket's
you.
plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly birds.
Very silly birds.
The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
But there we
The
go.
mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one
It's
who
a
had pointed him towards this
genius.
incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Very happy. Right, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
Let's
it mean?
go.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this
Yes.
better than the meeting room?
Yes.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure.
It's
Stanley
super
reflected
grand.
on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Okay.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Thanks, Jack.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
$1.25
And
is
then
quite cheap.
Something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
Yes.
The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket
This
close,
bucket, man.
yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's
Oh, no.
bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts
Where
of
did my
bizarre
bucket go?
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
It's the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley!
Where's my
Find me.
bucket?
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, it froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him.
Oh,
all
God.
along. It was incredibly painful.
I bet it
Stanley
was.
doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security.
Even
and walked to
Mariella's
her
got a
place of
bucket.
work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of
did have a
course,
bucket.
he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
She backflipped. What is happening? Why is
All
all
of
this
his
paper here?
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on
Okay,
his left.
a door on left. It didn't tell me to take the bucket this time. How can we find them? There will be. Damo, they're all gonna be here. There's one in here.
Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yes. I need to find them now, Damo. That's the problem. There's gonna be one in here, right?
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another
Stanlerines.
Stanlerine under your belt.
I'm not sure I like Stanlerines. Oh, hello. What's in here? This is new. This is a long elevator. This is the same place. Fine.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going.
I think they did,
Here on the
Damon.
floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever. Stanley just sat, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
I think
What
Figlies.
name better encapsulates the
think
intrinsic
Figlies?
sense of happiness that you
I
get
think
from seeing a
Figlies.
small number in the
Definitely
corner of your
Figlies.
screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
The problem is I'm not going to be able to finish this game now until I've got them. That is dangerous.
Stanley
be here
walked
all
straight
night.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I'm very stubborn like that.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Is there a collectible down
As
here?
the machine whirred into motion and Stanley
gotta
was
be a
inched
collectible down
closer
here,
and
right?
closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped
does.
forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
We froze.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Well done.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Hmm.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
I see.
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Yes.
Stanley pushed the big red button. Stanley pushed the orange lever. Now then, this elevator for sure will get him right back on track to...
Hmm. Oh no, we've already done that bit. Exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Hmm.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Yes.
No, perhaps not.
No.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Okay. We want to get these. Where can I get these trophies? Okay.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered
You
the
want me to
door
go
on
to
his left.
one on the right. Okay.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. Giddy but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There's one.
You're getting close now,
Got
Stanley.
one, I got
You've
one.
nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlarines. None of us can.
Figler and Lorraine's. Okay, I guess we go through here then.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it's...
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you.
It is so very
Life
simple.
being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had...
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him.
I think I might know
that
where the
employee
last one
lounge
is.
was simply the place to be.
Oop.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good,
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact.
I'm going to go here.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
To be one. To be three.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket
I shouldn't have
and what
picked up the
isn't a
bucket.
I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire
believe
rest of the game.
the
if not
one time I
addressed
pick up the
quickly and
bucket.
properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding
Okay.
of what is and isn't a bucket.
Okay, I'm just going to paste the read.
Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay.
Now
The
then,
heck?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll
Okay.
tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple
Okay.
enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Chat, are you going to help me?
Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Ooh, is this a bucket? Nope. Okay.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Damo, you got it right.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
What about this one? Seeing as you did so well on the first one. Okay.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual
I
bucket.
think I know where this is going.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Are we sticking with the no here? Or are we switching to yes? Definitely not, okay.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Unlucky.
Item 4. Is this a bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an
That's a
enormous
bucket.
machine that tills the earth. I
That's
thought
a
this was a
bucket.
gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
See? I knew it. Absolutely knew it.
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Can we... Is this the end?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here
Open
somewhere.
the door, it's fine.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the
There is.
implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments
That's
ago I could
exactly
answer these
it.
questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
You are a bucket.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay. Here we
No.
go.
Not my poor buckets.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Everything was a
Every
bucket.
single thing in the game was a bucket.
Everything in the game
My
was a bucket.
God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets. Okay?
Go for it.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you
It
run
is.
into anyone else, maybe don't mention that.
Okay,
Who knows
okay.
what that
It's between
information
us.
might do to a person?
It's our
All
secret.
right, here we go. A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see
Ignore bucket.
weather.
Oh, that was a new...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
I
well.
need to go this way.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley
on.
took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Okay.
fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
No, we're
I'm
good.
not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad
Yes.
to happen to you?
Yes.
Why? I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Damo, it's here. Oh.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly.
We got the
Savor this
Stiggly
moment,
Wigglies.
Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now
True.
we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ooh, ooh, which door? Shall we? Let's go for the. Let's go for the red
Thank God
door.
you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we
Kashi,
just
how you doing?
stopped. And I think,
Welcome on
I think
in.
I have a solution. Here,
Go on, narrator,
let
tell
me
me.
show you.
Oh, hello. Let's go through the door. You love the architecture. One odd thing to say.
What are we looking for?
Hang on, hang on. New job? Ooh, tell me more. What sort of job have you got? What are you doing? I'm so happy for you. I told you. I did tell you that you were going to get one soon. The sequel is now paused. Obviously, don't tell me if you don't want to dox yourself or you don't want it out there what you're doing. But if you're willing to tell me, I'd be very happy to hear about it. And why are you doing that?
Do you know how to fish? I'm a masturbator. Oh my god!
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? What were those words coming out of your mouth, Kashi? Disgusting. Disgusting. Oh, okay. What's in here? Hello.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually
Gotta put in worms
feel
on hooks.
happy.
Fair enough. Scientist. Biopharmaceutical department. Nice. That sounds actually really interesting. It
No,
does sound very
wait.
interesting.
Where are you going?
I'm going here.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
I'm just going up the stairs.
Please,
man.
no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Do I jump?
No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried. No. No, no. What are you doing, Stanley?
Are you going again?
Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
What is this game? Seems wild. It's very wild. So it surprises me when people haven't heard of this game because It's been out since 2013. Well, the original game has been out since 2013, and it's won like every award going. It's basically a subversion of like the choice-based games, like, you know, the Until Dawns and Dark Picture anthologies and stuff like that. But it's obviously not as like advanced graphic-wise. But basically, you're an office worker, and then one day, work stops coming through to your computer, and everybody from your building's disappeared. And you start wandering around the building and listening to this narrator, and you can basically choose whether to do what the narrator tells you to do or disobey the narrator, and there's lots of different branches and paths. I mean, I don't think we're anywhere near being done with every branch you can take in the game, and we've been playing it for over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But it is a relatively short game compared to, you know, your AAAs.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
No.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
Yes, narrator.
You'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
Oh, we're
I just
getting
wanted
slower.
us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It
Do one more
looks
jump.
like you wanted to make a choice after all.
And if it doesn't kill us,
Well,
we'll
this
go
one
back
is
into the other
yours.
room. I think this one is going to be the one, though.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines.
Oh, hello.
Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
Yes.
Didn't
Yes,
it
it was.
fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I
Yes.
know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
Okay.
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
Okay, let's
Just
go.
one more time.
Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Okay. This is new.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it's a
6.
6 right there on the screen, but
Oh,
how could
6,
we
baby.
know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Wait. Wait. We've just got the 7th. Wait.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini-stand?
Okay,
Can you
now it's
remember?
quizzing us.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them.
I did have 3 of
I'm glad
them.
these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Interesting.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
And now we've got 10. Lucy, how you doing? I hope you've had a lovely day. Given how late it is, I feel like you probably have had a good day. Hello, what are you? It did happen exactly like that. You're not wrong.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Okay, let's... Come on then, narrator, show us. This is peak Windows Movie Maker. It was a good day, so tired. Thanks for watching, well done.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent
Yes.
a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Which way do you want me to go? This way? Yes. Nothing that way. It is a great game.
And then,
Here's the
Stanley,
6th.
then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind.
Well, it did
Perhaps
just
because it was the one that happened more
Exactly,
recently than all
narrator,
the others.
exactly.
Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Well, you're not wrong. Now we've got 12 out of 6.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment.
It's
Nothing
true, I am
left
in the
to do
present.
but move onward into the future. Goodbye,
Oh.
memory zone.
What if I want to... Oh. I wanted to go to the past.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll
Yes,
do
yes,
the
yes,
memory
yes.
zone again from
Yes.
the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Yeah. Let's collect them again. I mean, let's uncollect them.
Okay, yes. The room with the red and blue doors. I remember this.
Yep,
I
13.
must say,
13,
of
13.
all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Yep.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yeah.
Yes.
I love that video.
Okay. Here we go.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Solid. Solid.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
So yes, if anybody is in chat, Mr. Mime, I think you have to put the full stop in it. If anybody in chat is interested, I do have some new channel point redeems. They're very interesting. There you go.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Here we go.
This is
Here's
it.
another
The
one.
very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, we're back here. The collectibles.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now.
I am also
Look how
fond
much
of the
fun
jump circle.
past is. I want more memories.
Okay.
Oh, yes, the 2 doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Enjoy your cookie.
And before everything else, there was your office.
There was.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate.
Hi,
I was
Scurvy.
skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way,
You are
I
indeed
stopped
second on
making
YouTube.
decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll
Yes.
take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with.
He
You
was
know
a
what?
lovely man.
Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so
Let's
very
do
much.
one more
Okay,
for old
here
time's
we
sake.
go. This is the story of a man named Stanley. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's go.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We're going to do it the right way.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
Hey, Michelle.
decided to go
Thank you
up
for
to his
your,
boss's office, hoping he might find
doing
an
the
answer
cookie.
there.
Oh, I cannot physically stay awake much longer, so it's nice to briefly swing by. I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be much longer, to be fair, Lucy, but yes, I'll speak to you tomorrow. And Michelle, I hope you enjoy your cookie. And thank you for wishing me for fun rest of stream. So yeah, reboot the game entirely. Maybe I won't do that. Hi, Michelle. Bear with me. How you doing, Michelle?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
now.
of any human life. What could it mean, he wondered? Desperate for answers, he began. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That
God's
kind of
sake.
anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward.
I do feel soothed and rejuvenated. I do love him. I might have to look up and see what other stuff he's done. His name's Kevin, right? I'm loving the new lines as well. I'm so happy they got him back to do the new
Stanley
lines.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Let's do it. One more time.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Yep, we
What
know.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did
Have
he
you played the game then,
strength
Michelle?
To find out.
How many times have you played the game, I suppose, is probably a better question.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Give me
And
jumps.
Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under
Everyone else
someone's
probably
control
played the
all
game
this
for an
time?
entire Tuesday,
Was this the
unlike
only
you.
reason he was happy with his boring job? That his
Why a
emotions
Tuesday?
had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His
Why a
own life
Tuesday?
in someone else's control? Never. It
Are
was
you part of the game
unthinkable.
demo?
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly
see.
blind to the world?
Oh, I'm exactly the same,
But here was
Michelle.
the proof.
I've
The
watched,
heart of the
I watched
operation.
a bit of this game
Controls
originally in
labeled with
2013.
emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
I
After
did,
they kept you
narrator.
enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what
One
you
of your
want?
favourite games to watch playthroughs of?
Control?
That's fair. There are so many different ways you can play this, so it really doesn't surprise
But you
me.
need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
No.
In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode,
No.
eliminating the entire
I'm not having that.
complex.
I'm not having it,
Long until
narrator.
detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
Everybody
Mere
run.
moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
What's
What's
over
that?
here?
You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Where are the
I have to
numbers?
say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds.
Where is number 3?
Time doesn't grow on trees.
Where is number 3? That's 5.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley.
I don't.
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom.
Oh, God.
No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life?
Oh, God.
Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke.
This one.
And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
God, that was really vibrating. And I think that's where we shall leave it for today. Because I have been playing for 3 hours. It is 1 AM in the morning for me. So I think we will give it a go. Yes, 3 hours exactly. But before we go, dismiss you. Have we got ads? I'm going to stay until the ads have gone. But we're going to do... Did we have fun?
This couldn't be made today.
There we go. Now you know. No, wrong one. Let's see who's live. Who can we go raid? I'd really appreciate it if you stuck around for the raid. If you can. If you have to go, obviously. No harm done. Shall we go and see if anybody is playing a Stanley Parable for the first time? Go raid over to them. No problem, Michelle. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you had fun. Who are you? Okay, what about you? Okay, let's go there.
Hello there.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I much appreciate the follow. Oh, there we go. I'm back. We're gonna go to someone else who's playing it. What is this? Shall we double check?
Could you maybe play a show instead of just colorful lights? That would keep me here. Binge-a-thon? Oh, I could do binge-a-thon. What's a long...
Okay, let's go over there. They seem cool. So if I make this full screen and then do let's raid, and then I do actual raid. Here. And then I'd like to thank Michelle for the follow, and I'd like to thank everyone who dropped by, even just for a little bit, to watch us. It's a fun game that I'm glad we got to play it. I don't know if there's too much to come back to, but you know, maybe I'll look into the trophies and see if it's worth coming back to it. But yes, I will send us across right now.